From the majestic kingdoms of the past to the resilient spirit of the present, Nigeria's history is a tale of strength, perseverance, and triumph which has witnessed the rise and fall of great eras, each leaving a mark on the rich textiles of its heritage. But the echoes of these powerful kingdoms and great eras of the past are fast eroding from the hearts of the people. So, how do we recreate a sense of connection to our past? Who will rise to promote empathy and a sense of shared purpose among our past and future generations? Meet 30 outstanding young Nigerians from the North, West, East and South regions of the country in the Young Historian Competition, determined to connect the courage of past generations to the glorious heritage of the present and future generations. Their mission is to inspire a positive attitude to the knowledge of history and provide a link between the past and future generations. Who will emerge as Nigeria's first champion of history? The Young Historian Competition, an initiative of the Restored Heart Foundation, is aimed at promoting knowledge of history among undergraduates of Nigeria's tertiary institutions. Abdulmalik Abubakar and Rose John Toyo from the Northwest region, Luke Idowu Daramola from the North Central, and Joy Adeboye from the Southwest region are the last four standing in the Young Historian Competition. All four contestants have followed through with their impressive performances from the intra-regional stage, all through to the quarterfinals, and are now just two more shots away from emerging as the keeper of African history. But only one out of the four can come out with that bragging right. Who will it be?
Young Historian Competition, the keeper of African history.
A whopping sum of 500,000 naira in academic scholarship is up for grabs in the Young Historian Competition offers, plus other juicy benefits for the winner. With so much at stake, the remaining four contestants know that it doesn't get any easier in this stage of the competition, and they have to put in their very best to stand any chance of laying claim to the title. The semi-finals promises to be a show of proficient articulation of concepts and the ability of the contestants to convince the judges and audience with their arguments. Unlike the previous rounds, this stage features a head-to-head debate between two contestants, where the winner of the tie will move on to the final. Joy Adeboye from the Southwest is up against Abdul Malik from the Northwest, while Rose John Toyo, also representing the Northwest, is going head-to-head against Luke Idowu Daramola from the North Central.
The criteria that will be used to judge them, we have their fluency and proficiency, their points noted and how they explain their points, their opening statement and argument, their formal rebuttal, their closing statements, and then we have their confidence level.
Young Historian Competition, the keeper of African history.
First up on the stage is Abdulmalik Abubakar, who is taking on Joy Adeboye. They are debating the topic: traditional institutions enhance governance and cultural preservation in Nigeria. Traditional institutions, as custodian of cultures and traditions, played a significant role before and during colonial independence of many African societies. In Nigeria, they provide a system of administration with an utmost aim of maintaining a stable governance through tradition, customs, and law and order. But with the advent of democracy, there has been a reduction in the role of traditional institutions in Nigeria. The question therefore is, do traditional institutions enhance governance and cultural preservation in Nigeria? For a place in the final, these contestants would have to convince the judges and the audience with their arguments. One more impressive performance will move either Abdulmalik Abubakar, who is supporting the motion, or Joy Adeboye, who is opposing the motion, closer to the ultimate prize.
As well as existence of humans on the African continent, as well as the existence of African traditional institutions in Africa. The greatest emperors of Africa, the greatest empires of Africa, like Ghana Empire, Borno Empire, Mali Empire, Oyo Empire, Benin Empire, and most recently Sokoto Caliphate. All these have contributed to the development and civilization of Africa before the advent of colonialism into Africa. Mr. Chairman, sir, the panel of impartial judges, the accurate timekeeper, our special invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abdul Malik Abubakar Isa, representing Bayero University, Kano. I'm on the sporting side of the topic, traditional institutions enhance governance and cultural preservations in Nigeria. Traditional institutions have been defined by Wikipedia Encyclopedia 2016 as those social, economic, and political organizations and bodies which drive, influence, legitimacy over the tradition of a particular people. These political institutions, they have so much connections with governance. Without them, there will be no governance, because they were the first institutions that have been existing in Africa before the coming of colonial masters. Those greatest emperors I mentioned, they constructed the Great Hill of Egypt, which could not even be developed under the present civilization. These institutions have been contributed in numerous factors and areas. One, peaceful coexistence. Second, national unity. Third, national security. Religious tolerance, social and political awareness, and conflict resolution. And above all, preservation of our rich cultural heritage in Africa. Nigeria is a country with over 300 ethnic groups, over 500 languages, according to UNESCO data 2022. These ethnic groups and languages could not hear any language of secularism because they are more inclined to their traditional system. Therefore, their emirs, their kings, their obas and alapins must talk to them in order to have peace and unity. When there is outburst and social crime in Kano State, to whom do our masses go and lend their voices for solace and relief? To the emir of Kano. If it is in Yoruba land, to the Obas and Alafins. If it is in the Iba land, to the Edes and Igwes, because they are more inclined to them and they hear their voices the more than the secular system of governance, which is alien in Nigeria. Do you know that the Emir of Kano has been advocating for peace, for example? Until his death, his most recited prayer has been, may Allah grant peace and stability. Allah ibamu lafiya da zaman lafiya, as in Hausa language. As a result of this, in 2016, both Sultan of Sokoto and John Oneyekan, Archbishop of Abuja, were enlisted among the recipients of Peace Nobel Prize because of their role that they have been given to the development of peace and stability in Nigeria. Secondly, national security. National security is sacred and sacrosanct.
Right now, we're making welcome the second speaker for her opening argument. Joy Adeboye from Adekunle Ajasin University, Akumba.
Marcus Garvey wrote, "A people without the knowledge of the past history, cultural heritage, and origin are like a people without roots." Have you ever felt the impact of your traditional rulers? Have they done something positive to bring change in governance? They have become tools that strengthen corrupt practices in our present day. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Joy Oluwatoyin Adeboye from Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, Ondo State. I am here to stand against the case which states the roles of traditional institutions in Nigeria hinders progress. What are traditional institutions? According to Dr. Abraham from the Department of History and International Studies, AAUA, it defines traditional institutions as indigenous governance. These are institutions that are responsible for spirituality, history, and keeper of our cultural heritage. But this is so quite unfortunate that what defines true indigenous governance in Nigeria has failed. They have hindered progress, and I will tell you why. The traditional institutions lay the foundation of corrupt practices in Nigeria. And let me take you down to the line of history. What happened in 1800? Our traditional rulers compromised the integrity of our countries with Europeans, selling out Nigerians like a paper to them. They siphoned off the resources of this country together with the local governments. By the 1976 local government reforms and 1999 constitutions, it states clearly the roles of our traditional rulers as an advisors and fourth estates to the present day local governments. But what have they done? Absolutely nothing, but as tools to disrupt the peace of our society. Whatsoever that is foundational and has not been corrected from the beginning will be so difficult to control. Second point, they defiled our traditional institutions. How many of you know here that during the colonial era, the shrine was the first place whereby Nigerians were kidnapped out of this country for slave trade? People who entrusted a territory into your hands, how can you sell them out at a cheaper rate? Our traditional institutions are no longer a sacred place. It has been perverted by so many acts of evils that we cannot even talk about. How many of you are here and you are still standing on the existing indigenous practices in Nigeria? Absolutely no. They are the custodians of our history, but no, we are not practicing what is true to us in Nigeria. Leopold Sédar Senghor of Senegal, he said that in his negritude, if we do not embrace our true identity as Africans, we will become objects of ridicules. In Nigeria now, we are objects of ridicules. How many of you are proud to even put on your true attire to classes now? You are a law student, Mr. Abu Malik. You wear white and black to class. If I wear this type of attire to class in this present day time, I will be laughed and mocked. What else have they done again to hinder governance? What else have they done to hinder governance? Our political institutions has already been politicized. They pay to get all these positions, which is not supposed to be so. All our traditional institutions are hauled to be from the procedures of laid down rules and regulations by our traditional systems. You would agree with me, our traditional institutions and traditional rulers who are the keeper of all these things are nothing but failure. And they have done nothing absolutely possible to keep our history. Thank you.
Let me call on this first speaker again to come for the formal rebuttal again. Mr. Walker.
Look at the second speaker. Very contradictory statement she has been making. Look at her own outfit, her wearing, her costume. Is it not the benefit of our traditional rulers that she get to know our tradition and even wear these clothes? She has said that the Western people, the colonial masters, they got slaves from our traditional rulers. Has she forgotten that King Jaja of Opobo was exiled because he depended his own people and stood to see the preservation of his own cultures? Likewise, the Sultan of Sokoto Atahiru was killed because he stood by justice and fairness of his own people because he wanted to preserve their culture and stand for their development. I also want to include to you and mention it to you that our traditional rulers, in terms of the security they give, take the issue of Abdullahi Bayero as example. Abdullahi Bayero, after which this university had been named, was the one who during Kano riots came over the media when people were slaughtered in Kano by Kano people as a result of attacks that happened all over the country and said stop doing that because they are a threat to our national security. From then, everyone dealt with his own senses. Likewise, Emi Ado Bayero in 2004, the same thing he did as a result of Plateau massacre in Yerwanshan Dam. People were being massacred in Kano. He also came out over the media and said to people of Kano, stop it, threat to our national security. We cannot tolerate that in Nigeria. And it stopped instantly. Also, we have it, our traditional rulers in terms of a public awareness. Even the Secretary of U.S., John Kerry, came to Nigeria for a thank you visit to the Sultan of Sokoto and said, Sultan, the Nigerian government could not kill polio for over 30 years, but you and traditional rulers killed polio. Nigeria is now polio free. Who can do that except a traditional ruler like the Sultan of Sokoto? Nobody except him. That is our traditional rulers. They have been doing it annually. The greatest festivals that attract people all over the world to come to Kano for Daba, to Eyo Lagos for the Lagos Annual Festival, to Kalva Carnival for the exhibition of the rich cultural heritage of Calabar, and so many cultural exhibitions. She said, they are corrupt. How corrupt are they? People that are not even civil servants. From where do they corrupt the money from? Are they civil servants?
Yes, the one is already sparking. There is an exploration of idea. Everywhere is exploding. Let me call on the next speaker in the person of Joy Adeboye to come and oppose the motion.
Abdul Malik Issa, objection to your position. Let me take you down to the line of history. History will remember those who want to remember, and they will forget those they want to forget. Jaja of Okombo that you mentioned, you never stated your evidence on your positions. From my own research from Crime Museum and Documentation Center, these traditional rulers were the one that laid the foundations of slavery in Nigeria. Slavery has been a system in Nigeria before. So how can you tell me when people come into your land and introduce something to you, definitely you will accept it. You say that they are not civil servants. They are puppets. Right from the era of colonialism in Nigeria, they have always been puppets. They are just puppets that are directed. Go here, you will go. Go there, you will go. They are advisory by the 1976 local government reform. They serve as advisors to the local government. And with this, if election wants to take place in Nigeria, who do they consult? They consult traditional rulers. They know you cannot vote for them if they did not cooperate with them. With that, these traditional rulers, they are stakeholders in governance. They have key roles to play, but because they are taking graft, when you are a thief, it will be difficult for you to say the truth. They are part of those that strengthen bad governance in Nigeria. Take a look at the insecurity that is ravaging all over our country. What have they done? If you are to stand by the protocols of our indigenous system in Nigeria, I am telling you that our traditional institution will flush them out. I am a Yoruba girl. If you use the system of Ogun, if you steal and use the system of Ogun to swear, if you are not responsible for that thing, it will kill you. Opposition to your positions. You talk about peace resolution. They don't resolve peace in Nigeria. The community where I come from, the traditional ruler who is there, strengthening domestic violence against women. The traditional rulers in this community, if you bring a case to him, he will ask for money. And if it is in a case whereby the person asks money, he will rather favor the person that asks money than the person who actually needs justice. So, Abdul Malik, your positions are not tenable enough to tell me that traditional rulers are not corrupt. They are very, very corrupt in Nigeria. Our indigenous system stands on morality, but they do not practice what morality is. Recently, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo ordered all traditional rulers to get up to their feet. This is the greatest highest insult against them.
It's getting hotter. Great Nigerian students. Are you enjoying this? Okay, right now we're welcome again Abdul Malik Issa Abubakar to come and give his closing remark.
Very laughable. If you look at this speaker, what she has been saying, what she mentioned was not even clear as to the true facts of what is there inside the books. I refer you to the famous book on the colonialism about Nigeria, which is authored by Maxolian, How British Colonized Nigeria. You will see how King Jaja of Obobo was exiled to out of Nigeria due to the prevention and standing for his own people. And I want to mention to you, please take issue of unity. Unity of this country is far above than anything. That is why it is even in the motto of Nigeria. Can somebody from Igbo land go to Sokoto and become a governor or a commissioner? But only traditional Judea do that. Do you know how they do it? Mr. Rochas Okorocha, former governor of Imo State, a Christian, an Igbo man from southeastern Nigeria, was granted a title of NG Kon Sokoto by the Sultan of Sokoto. How unity is this? Malam Muhammadu Buhari, former immediate past president of Nigeria, was offered the traditional title of Obuabu of Abia State by Eze of Abia State in order to show unity, cohesion, and understanding and togetherness as Nigerians. Jagaban. Jagaba is a Hausa word from Hausa states. Jagaban, that is President Asuwaju, was granted this title in Niger State by the Emirate of Borgu as Jagaban Borgu in order to show unity among Nigerians. Only traditional rulers can do that. Nobody except them that can do that. I want to complete my statement by saying traditional rulers play a vital role to enhance governance, development, peace and progress in Nigeria. Nobody except them that can do that.
Finally, we are welcome Joy Adeboye to come and give his closing argument. Put your hands together for her.
Abdul Malik Issa is an historian. I deal with facts and figures. I don't deal with adulterated books that has been infiltrated and adulterated by those who have taken the truth away from us in Nigeria, I embarked on a physical research to unfold the failures of our traditional governance. Go online, you will not even see the answers there. I do not deny the fact that the constitutions recognize the roles of traditional governance. But our life is very, very sacred. Traditional rulers do not respect human life. They still engage themselves in killing human beings just for them to appease the society. Have you forgotten that Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914? Nigeria exists as an empire. We exist individually before then. In conclusion, still standing on all existing protocols, all our traditional rulers, they are failures. And you would agree with me. What change have they bring to your community? How can a community be existing for 20 years to 30 years without lights? We have so many dilapidated schools. Children sitting down on the floor with nothing. And yet, what have they done? You don't bring in religion into culture, Abdul Malik. We are talking about culture and our history. And on this ground, governance is everybody's business. Our traditional rulers are stakeholders, and with that, they are failures.
Young Historian Competition, the keeper of African history.
The next edition of the Young Historian Competition is around the corner. Join us in this epic adventure where the brightest young minds in Nigeria compete for glory as they uncover stories of the past and explore ancient civilizations. For partnership opportunities, visit the rhfoundation.org/YHC or call the Restored Heart Foundation on 0708 616 0542.
Young Historian Competition, the keeper of African history.
At the end of the proceedings, our two finalists have emerged. Luke Idowu Daramola from the University of Ilorin representing the North Central and Abdul Malik Abubakar from Bayero University Kano representing the Northwest will be going head-to-head in the final round to determine who will emerge as the keeper of African history. In the next episode, we will bring you the concluding part of the competition. So get ready for the fireworks of intellectual discourse and entertaining side attractions as the Young Historian Competition comes to a close. Who will emerge the keeper of African history? Don't miss out on the spectacle. The competition is brought to you by the Restored Heart Foundation in partnership with Fulton Marine Services Limited, Hills Carries Gas Limited, DigiPiper and Carrier Paddy.
Written down by all our elders, we will tell.